Ayun, ma'am.
Sigurado ka.
Hello. Ayun, meron naman. Magalaw yung mic. Try natin.
Sige nga, magsalita ka.
Good morning, Direct John.
Good morning, Direct Carlo.
Ha? Mas mura yan kasi.
Before we formally start our 2021 annual stockholders meeting, let us first have our national anthem. Fellow directors, members, stockholders, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Today is September 26, 2021, and it's now past 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I, Reginald Benjamin San Pedro, as President of Valley Golf and Country Club Incorporated, hereby call this 2021 Annual Stockholders Meeting to order.
Before the meeting starts, can you hear me? May we inform everyone that this meeting is being convened via Zoom live streaming as approved by the Board of Directors and as authorized by the SEC Memorandum Circular Number 6, Series of 2020. For the information of all present, this meeting is being recorded in accordance with the requirements of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Let me state for the record the names of directors of Valley Golf and Country Club Incorporated who are present this afternoon in this meeting. The following directors are present today. Our President, Reginald Benjamin V. San Pedro. Our Vice President, Leopoldo M. Garcia. Our Treasurer, Pablito M. Gregorio. Our Assistant Treasurer joining us over Zoom, Albert Chique. Director Renato C. Balibag. Jose Arsenio Isidro D. Borromeo III, Carlo J. Carpio, Rafael S. Raimundo, Ronald O. Solis, and yours truly, Alan Hoxton, as your Corporate Secretary. Also with us here are the members of the Comelec, namely Attorney Joseph Joel Castillo, Attorney Wendell Di Maculangan, and Attorney Francis Aguilar.
May we now ask the Corporate Secretary, Attorney Alan Hoxton, if the stockholders were duly notified of today's annual stockholders meeting.
Mr. President, notices of today's meeting were duly sent to all of the stockholders on record through electronic mail to the members' email addresses officially registered with Valley Golf on September 4, 2021, which is at least 21 days prior to the scheduled annual stockholders meeting in accordance with the revised corporation code, and at least 10 days under the bylaws of Valley Golf and Country Club Incorporated. I also confirm that the notice of today's meeting was also posted on the front page of the club's website beginning on September 4, 2021. I therefore certify that the stockholders were duly notified of this annual stockholders meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Corporate Secretary. May we now have a certification of the existence of a quorum? Mr. Corporate Secretary, do you have a quorum for today's meeting?
Yes, Mr. President. Based on the tally of the number of stockholders who have successfully registered online and have submitted verified and validated SPAs and proxies on hand, the total number of voting online, in person, and represented by proxy is 960 shares, or representing at least 60% out of the 1,594 total outstanding capital stock of the club. The number of shares voting online in person is 92 shares, and by proxy, 868 shares. Mr. President, the total number of shares in attendance represents the majority of the total outstanding capital stock. I therefore certify as to the existence of a quorum for the valid transaction of business at today's meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Corporate Secretary. Before we proceed any further, may we request that the Corporate Secretary to briefly explain the rules in the conduct of today's meeting and the voting procedures for our virtual meeting today.
Yes, Mr. President, the guidelines for the September 26, 2021 stockholders meeting, as approved by the Board of Directors, was included in the club's definitive information statement that was submitted to the Securities and Exchange Commission. Let me state in summary the rules on the conduct of today's stockholders meeting. Because of the present pandemic situation, stockholders may only attend the meeting by remote communication through an online live broadcast and exercise their right to vote in absentia through the corporation's secure online voting system or by appointing a proxy. Stockholders intending to participate by remote communication and exercise the right to vote in absentia were requested to notify the club by sending an email to admin@valleygolf.com.ph and submit the fully accomplished and signed letter of intent and data privacy consent form. Each stockholder who signified his intention to participate by remote communication was given a one-time password sent through email. All information and documents submitted online were subject to verification and validation of the Office of Membership and Internal Audit. Stockholders intending to participate by appointing a proxy had until 5 o'clock in the afternoon on September 19, 2021 to submit their proxy forms online. Stockholders who have no email addresses could submit their proxy or the hard copies at the registration area. For the conduct of the meeting, it is a virtual stockholders meeting via Zoom webinar live streaming. Items in the agenda, together with the questions, suggestions, or comments sent through email by any stockholder, including the results of the voting on every item in the agenda, will be presented sequentially during the meeting. Only the items in the agenda and the results of the election will be taken up in the virtual meeting. Only the Board of Directors and the members of the COMELEC and the administrative support staff are now physically present in this virtual meeting. Stockholders had until 5 o'clock in the afternoon of September 19, 2021 to submit questions and comments, which will be read and answered during the live stream of the 2021 Annual Stockholders Meeting. Any questions or comments submitted and received after the deadline shall be answered directly by management through email to the stockholder concerned. Additional questions or comments may be sent to the Office of the President at valleygolf.com.ph. There are 5 items for voting, and they are: number 1, approval of the minutes of the 2020 stockholders meeting held on September 27, 2020. Number 2, approval of the President's report containing the company's 2021 annual report and financial report of the Treasurer containing the audited financial statements. Number 3, approval, confirmation, and ratification of all acts, resolutions of the Board of Directors and the management from July 1, 2020 to June 30, 2021. Number 4, appointment of external auditor. And number 5, election of directors. Lastly, I wish to reiterate that this meeting is being recorded in video and audio in accordance with the requirements of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Audio and video recordings of the 2021 Annual Stockholders Meeting live stream broadcast will be adequately maintained by the club and will be made available in the club's website after the event.
Thank you, Mr. Corporate Secretary. Let us now proceed with the meeting proper. Next in the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the annual meeting of stockholders, which was held on September 27, 2020. Mr. Corporate Secretary, were the stockholders informed of this item in the agenda?
Yes, Mr. President, copy of the minutes of the annual stockholders meeting held on September 27, 2020 was posted and made available in the club's website at www.valleygolf.com.ph on September 4, 2021. The summary of the minutes was also sent through email to the email addresses of stockholders officially registered with Valley Golf. With that, Mr. President, I would like to propose that the reading of the minutes of the annual stockholders meeting held on September 27, 2020 be dispensed with, considering that the members were duly apprised of the contents thereof, and the same be approved as appearing in the records.
Thank you, Mr. Corporate Secretary. The proposal is noted. Before we tally the votes of this item, may we inquire if there were inquiries or objections submitted online about this item in the agenda?
Mr. President, there were no questions or objections submitted online regarding this matter.
Mr. Corporate Secretary, can you present the proposed resolution on the matter and the tally of the votes for this item in the agenda?
The proposed resolution is now being flashed on screen. Approval of the minutes of the 2020 annual stockholders meeting held on September 27, 2020. Resolved that the minutes of the 2020 annual stockholders meeting held on September 27, 2020 be noted and approved. The tally of votes and validated proxies is now being flashed on screen. Good. Based on the total number of votes received, a majority of 940 shares comprising of 59% of the total number of shares issued approved the minutes of the 2020 annual stockholders meeting held on September 27, 2020.
Thank you, Mr. Corporate Secretary. Based on the report of the Corporate Secretary, the minutes of the 2020 annual stockholders meeting held on 27 September 2020 is hereby therefore noted and approved. Mr. Corporate Secretary, that the minutes of this meeting reflect the votes on this matter. Thank you, Mr. Corporate Secretary. Next in the agenda is matters arising from the minutes and action taken. Mr. Corporate
Mr. President.
Secretary.
Mr. President. Yes.
Go
There's
ahead.
a point of order, Mr. President. I believe that the corporate secretary suggested a while back that considering that the minutes which has just been approved, has been published in the website and all the stockholders have been informed about it, that the reading of the minutes be dispensed with. Just as a matter of order, point of order, Your Honor, Mr. Chair, I believe that this motion has to be approved first by the directors present. The motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes.
Thank you, Director Pope Solis. Is there a motion from any of the directors?
I so move, Mr. President.
Is there a second for the motion? The motion is duly seconded with no objection. Therefore, motion is approved. Thank you, gentlemen. We continue. Thank you, Mr. Corporate Secretary. Next in the agenda is matters arising from the minutes and action taken. Mr. Corporate Secretary, were there inquiries submitted online regarding this item in the agenda?
Mr. President, there were no questions submitted online regarding this matter.
Thank you, Mr. Corporate Secretary. Next in the agenda is the financial report of the Treasurer. The financial report of the Treasurer contains the audited financial statements for fiscal year 2021. A copy of the audited financial statements for the fiscal year 2021 was made available to the stockholders in the website of the club and was sent to the members via email. Mr. Corporate Secretary, were there inquiries or objections submitted online regarding this item in the agenda?
As of 5 o'clock in the afternoon yesterday, Mr. President, there were no questions or objections submitted online regarding this matter.
Thank you, Mr. Corporate Secretary. Next on the agenda is the President's report, now being flashed on the screen. Mr. Corporate Secretary, were there inquiries or objections submitted online regarding this item in the club?
Likewise, Mr. President, there were no questions or objections submitted online regarding this matter.
Mr. Corporate Secretary, can you present the proposed resolution on the matter and the tally of the votes for these two items in the agenda?
Yes, Mr. President, the proposed resolution on the matter is now being flashed on screen. As I read approval of the Treasurer's financial report and President's report, resolved, the audited financial statements for fiscal year 2021 as reflected in the Treasurer's financial report, together with the company's 2021 annual report as reflected in the President's report, be noted and approved. The tally of votes and validated proxies is now likewise being flashed on screen. Based on the total votes received, a majority or 940 shares comprising of 59% of the total number of shares issued voted in favor of the approval of the President's report containing the 2021 company's annual report and financial report of the Treasurer containing the audited financial statements.
Thank you, Mr. Corporate Secretary. Based on the report of the Corporate Secretary, the President's report and financial report of the Treasurer are hereby therefore noted and approved. Mr. Corporate Secretary, let the minutes of this meeting reflect the votes on this matter. Next in the agenda is the approval, confirmation, and ratification of the acts of the Board and Management from July 1, 2020 to June 30, 2021. A copy of the lists of the acts of the Board and Management from July 1, 2020 to June 30, 2021 was made available to the stockholders in the website of the club, and the same was sent through email to the registered email addresses of all the stockholders. Mr. Corporate Secretary, were there inquiries or objections submitted online regarding this matter in the agenda?
Mr. President, there were no questions or objections submitted online regarding this matter.
Mr. Corporate Secretary, can you present the proposed resolution on the matter and the tally of the votes for this item in the agenda?
Yes, Mr. President, the proposed resolution on the matter is now being flashed on the screen. And I read approval, confirmation, and ratification of all acts of the Board and Management for the period July 1, 2020 to June 30, 2021. Resolved that all acts of the Board of Directors and Management for the period July 1, 2020 to June 30, 2021 are hereby confirmed, approved, and ratified. The tally of votes and validated proxies is now likewise being flashed on screen. Based on the total votes received, a majority of 900 or 940 shares comprising of 59% of the total number of shares issued voted in favor of the approval of the acts of the Board and Management from July 1, 2020 to June 30, 2021.
Thank you, Mr. Corporate Secretary. Based on the report of the Corporate Secretary, the acts of the Board and Management from July 1, 2020 to June 30, 2021 are hereby therefore noted and confirmed, approved, and ratified. Mr. Corporate Secretary, let the minutes of this meeting reflect the votes on this matter. Next in the agenda is the appointment of external auditor. Our present external auditor is CCIP Cores Vilayo and Company. Thus far, the club is satisfied with their services, fees, and reputation. The audit committee recommended to the board the reappointment of SGV as external auditor, and the recommendation was approved by the board. Mr. Corporate Secretary, were there inquiries or objections submitted online regarding this item in the agenda?
Mr. President, there were no questions or objections submitted online regarding this matter.
Mr. Corporate Secretary, can you present the proposed resolution on the matter and the tally of the votes for this item in the agenda?
Yes, Mr. President, the proposed resolution on the matter is now being flashed on screen. As I read, approval of the appointment of external auditor. Resolved that the reappointment of CCIP Cores Vilayo and Company is hereby noted and approved. The tally of votes and validated proxies is now likewise being flashed on the screen. Based on the total votes received, a majority or 940 shares comprising of 59% of the total number of shares issued voted in favor of the approval of the reappointment of SGV and Company as external auditor.
Thank you, Mr. Corporate Secretary. Based on the report of the Corporate Secretary, the reappointment of SGV and Company as external auditors is hereby therefore noted and approved. Mr. Corporate Secretary, let the minutes of this meeting reflect the votes on this matter. Next in the agenda is the election of directors. We are electing 3 directors for this annual stockholders meeting for the ensuing year. The individual profiles were sent through email to the email addresses of the members officially registered with Valley Golf, posted in the club's bulletin board, website, and appeared in the definitive information sheet. The following are the official nominees: Jason J. Alba, Jose Ferdinand R. Giang, Constantine Al Cochet Chua, Jose G. Razon, Rio Cesinando E. Venturanza. May we request the chairman of the COMELEC, Attorney Joseph Joel Castillo, to explain briefly the online voting process in accordance with the rules and procedures regarding online voting.
Thank you, Mr. President. For the 2021 election of the Board of Directors, the voting was done online last September 22, 2021, starting at 8 a.m. to September 23, 2021, until 5 p.m. of that day for voting in person, and September 24, 2021, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. for those voting by proxy or the proxy holders. The safety measures to ensure the integrity of the system are: stockholders will be registered into the system by entering their account numbers and email addresses into the voting system. Second, a stockholder can authenticate his or her email address by entering the OTP or the one-time password on the voting system. Number 3, each stockholder will be given a randomly generated OTP by the e-voting system through their email address. Number 5, the results will then be validated through logins and access to the system by our internal audit. We have the activity logs to record real-time movement of the person accessing the system. 6, after the series of testing, checking the tabulation, only the programmers and the internal auditors have access to canvassing. After the 5 p.m. of September 24, viewing access of the admin and even the IT personnel will be deactivated. And of course, the generation of data was done only last September 25, 2021 by the internal auditor in the presence of the COMELEC committee and witnessed online by our representatives from the SGV. Thank you, Paul. At this point, I now turn over the tallying of the votes to the representative of the SGB. Can we flash the result of the votes, please?
Good afternoon to the Board of Directors and stockholders of Valley Golf and Country Club, Inc. So for the tally of votes on the online election of the directors generated last September 25, 2021, through the online voting system of the club, I now present to you the total tally of votes on the election. So total number of votes in person is number of shares 92 and number of casted votes is 273. Votes by proxy, number of shares is 848 and total casted votes is 2,524. So for the total number of shares, it's 940 and the total casted votes is 2,797. So for the results of the online voting, so for candidate Mr. Alba Jose Joaquin, total online vote in person is 85. Total online vote by proxy is 483 with a total number of votes of 568. Candidate Mr. Giang Jose Ferdinand, total online vote in person is 14. Total online vote by proxy is 6 with a total number of votes of 20. Candidate Mr. Cochet Chua Constantine, total online vote in person is 56. Online vote by proxy is 696 with a total number of votes of 752. Candidate Mr. Razon Jose, total online votes in person is 45. Online vote by proxy is 664 with a total number of votes of 709. And candidate Mr. Venturanza Rio Sensinado, total online vote in person is 73. Total online vote by proxy is 675 with a total number of votes of 749. So the total online votes in person generated is 273. Total online votes by proxy is 2,524. So the results of the election was generated last September 25, 2021 with the and witnessed by the COMELEC and the SGB representatives. So the top 3 candidates for the director position. First, we have Mr. Cochet Chua Constantine with total votes of 752. Next, Mr. Venturanza Rio Sensinado with total votes of 748. And Mr. Razon Jose with total votes of 709.
So
Thank
to
you.
the board of directors and to the to our members of the Valley Golf and Country Club, we present the winning candidates for the new seats of board of directors.
Thank you, Mr. Comelec Chair. Based on the verification and tally report of the internal auditor as witnessed by SGV, the following nominees were elected by the stockholders: Cochet Chua Constantine, Razon Jose, Venturanza Rio Cesinado. I hereby declare that the 3 winning candidates duly elected to serve as directors until the election and qualification of their successors. Mr. Corporate Secretary, let the minutes of this meeting reflect the votes on this matter. At this point, I would like to call on the newly elected directors for some short messages. Are they here?
They're here.
Congratulations, gentlemen. May we call on Mr. Chua, Kochet Chua, to probably speak. Say some words, please.
Dito, may upuan. Dalawa po committee ko member ko noon.
Okay. We give you Mr. Constantine L. Kochet Chua. You have the floor.
Baka nakamute.
Wala.
Mic test. That's good. Good afternoon to everyone.
Dagdagan mo. Hindi, double mo. Double.
This is-
Pag-utos na naman ako mamaya.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Constantine Conchichua. God bless that potential that we all have for making anything possible if we think we deserve it. Well, there are a few in position who think otherwise. There were many others who thought I deserve it. And I would like to believe that they voted me in, not only because of my name, but for the way I've represented myself in my past 11 years as a member of Valley. Being fair, respectful, humble in the way I deal with everyone. Truthful, honest, and always willing to help. And most of all, having a genuine love for our home club. Our second home, as they say, our home away from home. Having said these, I accept this position with all humility.
will do my best in helping make our beloved home club achieve greater heights and be what it is, what it truly should be, our home away from home. Thank you to all who have supported me, many of whom are not even my close friends nor teammates. Your trust and confidence in me is inspiring and humbling at the same time. Special thanks go to my team, the B-Boys, who have stood by me for very long through all the highs and lows. And to the core group who really worked hard on this, you have my utmost respect and gratitude. Last but not the least, I'd like to say thank you to my family. They know how tall an order this is going to be for me, yet they support me 100%. To my recently departed mom and to my dad, I will make you proud. Now the hard work begins. I am up for the challenge. Mabuhay ang Valley Golf. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Cons. I give you Attorney Rayo Venturanza.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Members of the board and the staff and the shareholders who are attending this online meeting. I consider being a director of Valley a very big responsibility, but at the same time, it's an honor and privilege to be able to serve our dear club. I'd like to thank everyone who supported me, especially those who worked hard to put me in this position to serve. But most of all, I'd like to give the glory and honor to our Lord God Almighty, who in His sovereignty, nothing happens by accident. Rest assured that I will do my utmost to protect the interests of the club, to push for resolutions, policies and rules that will protect the interests of the club, increase the share of the club, and enhance the playing experience of our members, their families, and guests. Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you, Attorney Rayo. I give you Joey Razon.
Hello. Hello. It's all right? Okay. Good afternoon, President San Pedro, the Board of Directors, all the shareholders of Bali, and the staff that are assisting us right now. Meron ba? I would like to thank all those who voted for me, whether I know them or not. But I am sure that they voted for me because they know me. So I am very thankful that somehow they have given me this responsibility and this honor to serve our beloved Bali Golf. With all humility, I am accepting it and and promise to work in cooperation with all the board of directors towards the fulfillment of some great things that we want all for Bali Golf. Specifically, the enhancement of our club in terms of its financial status, and as well as its representation to the golfing world. I would want also to, and I promise to be working very, very closely with the other directors to help and promote the camaraderie and friendship that is supposed to be what is golf is all about. So, uh, so in behalf of my family and through God that has given me all these opportunities in life, and things that I never would think that, I will be a director of Bali Golf when I was just, playing and, wanting to enjoy myself in terms of my sport, which I love very much. So in closing, again, my heartfelt thanks to all the people who helped me, and hopefully I am thanking you all to and in welcoming me to this August body, or August to this August organization. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cons, Rayo, and Joey. Again, congratulations and welcome to the board. We are done with all the items in the agenda. May we know from the corporate secretary if there were other inquiries submitted online regarding other matters?
Yes, Mr. President. We received an email last September 15, 2021. And the basic query is, why do we have a term of 3 years for the board of directors when the revised corporation code provides for only 1 year? That's the only question, Mr. President.
It's from member engineer Marvin Caparos. I remember meeting engineer Marvin. For the record, it's been a pleasure, sir. You're really an expert. It's really enlightening to meet industry and industry experts. And thank you for the contributions. And I hope you continue to help the board and management from here on. The response given to me by our legal counsel, and the same was affirmed by our director and chairman of legal and the corporate secretary, is that we follow what is in our bylaws, and the same is being provided and affirmed by the SEC on an annual basis. Thank you, and see you again soon, Mr. Marvin.
Mr. President, there are no other questions regarding the matters taken upon. In the meantime, any questions or comments that we received are being answered directly by the management through email to the stockholder concerned. That is all, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Corporate Secretary. I am looking at the chat now, and I don't see any questions. So there being none, and there being no other, Direct Pope?
Thank you, Mr. President. At this juncture, before we adjourn the stockholders meeting, I just want to sponsor a resolution of thanks to the able, steady, and dedicated leadership of the President, PJ San Pedro. He steered the club in the second year of the pandemic. At the beginning of the year, of course, we were all worried and bothered. No? What lies ahead? But at the end of the year, as our financial records would show, and also the physical appearance of the club, which is for everybody to see. No? We had withstood the pandemic, and I think we are doing the right steps. And all of this was through the steady and able stewardship of the President. And therefore, I commend the President and sponsor a move that a resolution of thanks be approved by the board.
Thank you, Director. I'm surprised, but at the same time, I am honored to be, as I messaged the board earlier today, I was honored to be part of the best mix of board this year, 2020, 2021. As I mentioned, it's been a struggle at the start, but our results in our financial statements and the records show that our board has delivered. So it's not only myself, but in several of the board meetings, I was made to congratulate and recognize everyone for a hard-working group of board, gentlemen in every sense of the word, true gentlemen of golf, and industry and the experts in their own field and practices. So it's not only me, it's everybody's good work. And thank you for all of your sacrifices this year. And I wish the next board of directors the same, if not better results. All for the love of our club, all for the love of Valley Golf. Thank you again, gentlemen. Thank you. So, finally, there being no other matters to discuss, Direct Albert, and then followed by Direct Rene.
Good afternoon, fellow directors, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President. I think this is the best time for me to air this proposal. It's been 3 years that I've been proposing this, but anyway, I know that it would need about 2/3 of the vote of the membership. Be it as it may, I would like to share this proposal, having since we have already started the electronic online voting. Why don't we have this for the succeeding year? To have this online, and I think it will be a smooth procedure also. It also will not create any indifference among members, among groups. So I hope, having this said, I hope the club and the board can do something on this. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Direct Albert. I think that the matter is for the next board to tackle. And let it be on record, there's the statement from Direct Albert. So the Secretariat can just forwarded to the next board for future possible actions. Thank you, Direk Albert. Direk Rene. Paki-unmute.
There was a resolution moved by Director Solis regarding for your good leadership. May I just make a second motion to have it passed? Thank you.
Thank you, Direk Rene. You're really generous. And again, thank you, Direk Rene. Thank you, Direk Pope, and all the directors here. And the future directors, good luck and see you soon. Finally, there being no other matters, I hereby adjourn this 2021 annual stockholders meeting. Thank you, gentlemen. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Napakabilis pala kaysa sa board meeting.
Nakakalimutan nyo. Nakakalimutan. Ano ba yun na mga nandun?
May, Mr. President, may award.